Wish all you are well. In this tutorial I am going to explain break and continue statement, which is one of the important topic related with looping operation in C. Break statement is a predefined keyword in C. It is used in loop to break it, and this break statement also used in switch case. Say this is the syntax of break statement. It is used in while loop. While this condition is satisfied, means condition gives true or logic once, the execution will enter into the while loop statement and it will execute these codes. If this condition is not satisfied, it will not enter into inside this if block. It will execute this code. While execution comes at the last statement in the while loop, it will return back to test the expression. If it is again true, then the statement which is inside the loop will execute like the same way. While this condition is satisfied, which is marked here condition to break. So if this condition is satisfied, then execution enters into this if statement where break statement is there. This break statement will be executed. While this break statement will be executed, the execution will come out from the while loop. This is the start of while loop and this is the end of while loop. When this break statement will be executed, it will come out from the while loop. So this is the syntax of break statement. So whenever break statement is encountered, execution breaks out of the innermost enclosing loop in which the break statement is attached, and control goes out to the statement after the loop. Loop may be while loop, do while loop, for loop, etc. This is the break statement for do while loop. It will execute the statements inside the do block. If this condition is not satisfied, this break statement will not be executed. It will come to here to check the condition inside the while expression. If this provides logic once, execution again returns to inside do block. When the condition inside if gives logic 1 or true, then the execution enters into the if block and the break statement will be executed. When this break statement will be executed, then the execution comes out from while loop. Similarly, there is the for loop, initialization, test expression and update. When this test expression provides true signal, it enters into the for loop. It executes all the statements inside the for loop. If this condition is not returned a true, then the execution will not enter into the if block and break statement will not be executed. So while this code will be executed, the execution return back to check the test expression. If the test expression again provides a true output, then again execution enters into the for loop. Now when this condition provides a logic 1 or true as a return, the execution enters into this if block and this break statement will be executed. When this break statement will be executed, the execution will come out from the loop. So this is the end of the loop. So execution will come out at this position of the program. Now explaining the break statement with some programming example. This is the break statement used in for loop. For n is equal to 1 to 10, n plus plus. If n greater than 5, when this condition will be satisfied, then this break statement will be executed. After this, we are printing the value of n. Say the value of n is equal to 1 to 10. So when n is equal to 1, this condition is satisfied. Execution enters into the for loop. This condition inside if statement provides false. So it will not enter into the if block and it will not execute the break statement. So we will get 1 at the output. After execution of this print statement, it will return back to increment the value of n. Now n is equal to 2. It satisfied this condition and it enters into the for block. Again this if condition providing false, so it will not enter into this loop and it will print 2. Like this way we will get the output up to 5. After that the value of n is 6. When value of n is 6, the condition of if statement returns true value, and the execution enters into the if block. Inside if block, the break statement is there. So this break statement will be executed. When this break statement will be executed, then the execution will come out from the loop. This is the end of the loop. The execution will come out at this position. So here value n is 6 will not be printed. So we will get the output 1 to 5. Now running the program and checking the output. This is the same program. I am using code block. Now running the program. See, we are getting the output 1 to 5. There is another example using break statement. While on means this is always true. So execution enters into the while block. It will print C programming. After that, this break statement will be executed. When this break statement will be executed, then the execution come out from the while loop. This is the end of the while loop. So execution will come out at this position. Though infinite loop, yet terminated with break statement. So here what we will get? We will get C programming as output. Now running the program. This is the program, running it. See, the output is C programming. Now this is another example, break statement using while loop. What is there? First we have initialized value of n is 1. So value of n is 1. While the condition is n less or is equal to 10. So till the value of n is 1 to 10, the execution will enter into the while block. Inside while block, what is there? If this condition is false, then execution will not enter into this if block and this break statement will not be executed. Directly it will print the value of n and the value of n will be incremented. After this increment, the execution will return to check the while condition again. Now see what are the output we will get. First n is equal to 1. This condition provides true. It enters into this while block. If n greater than 5, this provides false. So break statement will not be executed. We will get the output 1. N will be incremented by 1. So value of n is now 2. It will return back to check the condition. Now 2 is less or is equal to 10. So again this provides true signal. Enter into the block. 2 greater than 5 is false. It will not execute break statement. We will get the output 2. N will be incremented 3. Similarly, we will get the output 3. N will be incremented 4. Similarly, we will get the output 4. N will be incremented to 5. Similarly, we will get the output 5. N will be incremented to 6. When n is 6, this condition 6 less or is equal to 10 provides the true result. But while the execution enters into the while block, this n greater than 5, that is 6 greater than 5, this provides true. When this provides true, the execution enters into the if block and execute this break statement. While this break statement will be executed, the execution will come out from the while loop. This is the end of the while loop. So after this break statement, execution will come out from here to here. So we will get no output after 5. So what are the output we will get? We will get the output from 1 to 5. Now running the program and checking. This same program, now running it. Say here the output is 1 to 5. This is another example with break statement. What is the target? This is addition of all numbers given from the keyboard until -1 is entered. Means we shall add numbers one by one entered from the keyboard until we will enter -1. While we will enter -1, the program will terminate. We have used while loop. While 1 means 1 is always true, so this is infinite loop. It enters into the while block. In this statement, the program expects a data from the keyboard. While we enter the data from the keyboard, it will store into the variable n. If that data is not is equal to 1, this break statement will not be executed. That data will be added with the variable sum, where initial value of the sum is 0. After execution, it will return to check the while condition again. It will enter into the while block, and this will continue until this n will be equal to -1. When this n will be equal to -1, this break statement will be executed and it will come out from the while loop and print value of the sum. While this program will run, first it will expect a data from the keyboard, and that will be stored into the variable n. Say n is the variable, and first data I have entered, say 1, and initial value of sum is 0. The condition inside if statement will provide false, so this break statement will not be executed. Sum plus n will be executed. So now this sum 0 and this 1 will be added, and ultimately the result of this will be stored in sum. So now the value of sum is 1. It will return to start of this while loop. Again, next value from the keyboard is expected. Say we will enter the value 3. Again, n is not is equal to -1 because n is now 3. This break statement will not be executed. Again, this previous sum and present value, that is n, that will be added, and the result will be stored into the variable sum. Now this is 4. It will return back to check the while statement. Now next value, say I have entered 5. Similarly, that will be added and the result will be stored, that is 9, into the sum variable. Now say next time we are entering -1 from the keyboard. So now the value is -1. When n is -1, this will provide true. When this is true, the execution enter into the if block and this break statement will be executed. When this break statement will be executed, the execution come out from the while loop. So the execution will come out at this statement. This is out of while loop because this is the end of the while loop, and it will print the value of the sum at the output. So what we will get at the output? We will get 9 if we enter the value 1, 3 and 5. Now say running the program. This is the program. Now running it, putting first value 1, enter, putting next value 3, enter, putting next value 5, enter. Now putting the value -1 to come out from the loop. See, the result is 9. Now coming to continue statement. Continue statement breaks the current iteration in the loop if a specified condition occurs and go back to the start of the loop, that is to start the next iteration. This is a syntax where continue statement has been used with while loop. While this test expression is true, execution enters into the while block. It will execute this code. If this condition is not satisfied, this continue statement will not be executed. It will execute these codes. This is the last statement of the while loop, so it will return back to again for testing while expression. If the test expression again provides the true, it will enter into the while loop and this will go on. When the condition of if statement provides true, then the execution enters into the if block and this continue statement will be executed. When this continue statement will be executed, then the rest part of while loop will be skipped. Means this is the rest part, this will not be executed. After execution of this continue statement, the program returns to the start of the while loop and again it will check the test expression. If it is true, the execution enter into the while block. If it is false, then the while loop will terminate. This is syntax for continuous statement with do while loop. Do, inside the block all the statements will be executed. it will check the test expression inside the while. If it is true, it will return back to execute the statements inside the do block. Now when this condition of if becomes true, this continue statement will be executed. When this continue statement will be executed, the rest part of the do block will not be executed. The execution will directly come to the while test expression. This is the syntax of for loop with continue statement. For initialization text expression update, it enters into the for block. If this condition is false, then this continue will not be executed. This codes will be executed. It will return back to update. Again check the text expression and enter into the for block. When this if condition provides true, this continue statement will be executed, and when this continue statement will be executed, the rest part of for block will not be executed. The execution will directly goes to start of the for loop again. This is the example of continuous statement with for loop. For I is 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So value of I is 0 to 9. This is the if condition. If this condition is satisfied, then this continue statement will be executed. If this is not satisfied, this printf instruction will be executed and it will return back to checking the for loop. So value of I starts from 0. So when I is 0, this condition is satisfied, enters into the for block. This condition of if is false, so it will not execute the continue. We will get the value of I at the output. After printf instruction, it will return back to increase the value of I. Now I is 1. Now 1 is less than 10. So this is satisfying. Again enters here. This is false. So again we will get the output 1. Similarly this will go on. When I is 2, we will get the output 2. I is 3, we will get the output 3. When I is 4, this condition I is equal to 4 means 4 is equal to 4. So this will provide true. When this will provide true, then this continuous statement will be executed. When this continuous statement will be executed, after that it will return back to start of the for loop. It will not execute this printf instruction, so we will get no output when I is equal to 4. What will happen? I will increment. So value of I is now 5. This I less than 10 provide logic true. Now this is 5. So this will be again false. This continuous statement will not be executed. We will get the output 5. Like the same way, we will get the output for 6. We will get the output for 7. We will get the output for 8. We will get the output for 9. After that, when the value of I is 10, this 10 less than 10, this will not be satisfied, so the for loop will terminate. What are the values we are getting at the output? We are getting the output 0 to 9 without 4. So running the program. This is that program in code block. Running it. See the result 0, 1, 2, 3, next 5. No 4 is here. 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the same program with while loop. Initial value of I is 0. While I is less than 10 means 0 is less than 10. This is providing true. It enters into the while block. If I is equal to 4, now I is 0, 0 is equal to 4, this is providing false, so it is not entering into the if block. It is directly printing the value of I, which is 0, and increment the value of I, so now I is 1. Next it will return to while loop, again checking the condition. Now 1 is less than 10, again true, it will enter into the while block. 1 is equal to 4, this provides false, so it is not entering into the if block, and this continuous statement is not executing. It is printing the value of I at the output, this is 1, and increment the value, this now I is 2. This will go on up to the value of I is 3. So for 2 we will get the output, for 3 we will get the output. The next value is 4. Now when this is 4, now when I is 4, this I less than 4 is providing true, but in this case now I is 4. I is 4, so 4 is equal to 4, this provides true. When this is true, the execution enters into the if block, increment the value of I, now I is 5, and next this continuous statement will be executed. What will happen? This continuous statement, when this continuous statement will be executed, then it will return back to start of the while loop. Means the rest part of the loop will not be executed. This part of the program will be skipped out. So what is happening now? Now the value is 5. Again this is providing true. Now value is 5. So this 5 double equal to 4. This is providing again the false. It will not enter into the if block. This continue will not be executed. This printf will be executed. So we will get the value 5 at the output, and I will be incremented to 6. By similar way, we will get the output 6, and up to 9 we will get the output. So for 7 we will get the output, for 8 we will get the output, for 9 we will get the output, but when the value of I is 10, then this I less than 10, this will provide false. So while loop will be terminated when the value I is 10, so we will not get 10 as output. So what are the value we are getting at the output? 0 to 9, but absence of 4. Now running the program. This is the program, running it. See, the output is 0, 1, 2, 3, but no 4 is here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is another example. What is the target of the program? Read the integers until a non-digit is found and find the largest on the positive integers. We will enter the value from the keyboard. The value will be accepted until a non-digit has been entered from the keyboard. Say we are entering the value 1, so that will be accepted. Next we are entering the value -1, this is also accepted. We are entering the value 4, this is accepted. We are entering the value 3, this is accepted. So all are digit. Now while we will enter a non-digit value, means any type of symbol, any type of punctuation like this, at that moment the program will terminate. What is the next part? Whatever the value we have entered through the keyboard, we have to find out the largest of those. Now see how the program has been written. We have used scanf instruction inside the while condition. Scanf %d %a. This scanf instruction will provide logic 1 or true if data is successfully read from the keyboard, and that data will be stored into the variable a. So when this 1, -1, 4, 3, this type of integers are entered through the keyboard, this scanf instruction provides logic true signal. But if we enter any type of symbol, any type of punctuation, then scanf instruction will provide false, and the condition inside the while statement at that time will be false. So the while loop will terminate at that moment. So what is inside this while loop? First, say we have entered the value which is positive. So if the value of a is positive, this if statement will not be executed, it will directly come to here. What is here? Here one if statement I have used to get the maximum of the values which we have entered. What is here? Initially we have set variable max with 0. If the entered value a is greater than max, the execution will enter into the if statement, and the maximum value will be equal to a, means whatever the value we have just entered from the keyboard. Next, I is equal to I plus 1. Why this is used? This is for taking the number of counts, means how many values, how many number of data we are considering which have been entered through the keyboard. So when the value is positive, then first if statement will not be executed, it will directly come to here. It will check whether it is maximum or not. If it is maximum, then the value of the max variable will be with that value. Then I will be incremented, means count value will be 1 more than the previous value. Say first value we are entering 1. This 1 will be successfully read. So this scanf will provide on or true signal. So on is equal to 1. So the test expression inside while loop will be logic 1. The execution enters into the while block. Now a is equal to 1. So 1 less than 0, this will provide false. This continuous statement will not be executed. It will come to next if instruction. Now see, a is 1. So 1 is greater than is equal to 0. This is true. So it will enter into this if statement. Now the value of max is now 1. So value of max variable is now 1. It will come to execute this instruction. What will the value of I? I is I plus 1. Initial value of I was 0. So now I is equal to 1. Now say we are entering -1. Again this -1 will be read successfully. So enters into the while loop. Now -1 less than 0, this will provide true. While this is true, this continuous statement will be executed. When this continuous statement will be executed, the rest part inside the while loop will not be executed, means this part will be skipped and the execution will return back to the start of the while loop. So what will happen? Though we have entered -1, but that will not be counted, means I will not be incremented, so that will not be counted, because our motto is to consider only the positive integer. So say next value we are entering 4. When this is 4, this statement will provide false, because 4 less than 0, this is false. Continue will not be executed. It will come here. A is now 4. Value of max is 1. So this is true. It will enter here. So now the max value is 4. I will be incremented. I is 2. Next value, say I have entered 3. Similarly, this provides false. Now value of A is 3. Maximum value previous was 4. So this provides logic false. It will not enter here. But this I is equal to I plus 1 will be executed. So now the value of I is 3. This will continue if we enter the value which is positive, negative or 0. But while we enter any non-digit value, say after that we are entering a dot. When this dot is entered, this scanf instruction will provide false because that dot has not been successfully read by scanf instruction, because here format specifier is an integer value. So this test expression of while loop will be logic false. So while loop will be terminated. It will come out from the while loop and this statement will be executed. The first statement will provide the number of entry. So what is the value of I now? Now the value of I is 3. The number of entry which we have considered. What is the largest value? The largest value is 4. So if we enter the data on -1, 4 and 3 and a dot, then we will get the maximum of this is 4 and number of entry is 3. Now running the program. This is same program. Now running it. First I am entering the value 1, enter, -1, enter, 4, enter, 3, enter. Next I will put dot to come out from the loop. Say the number of entry is 3 and largest one is 4. Now coming to explanation of break statement in switch case. Switch case is another way to control and decide the execution of statement other than if else. This is used when we are given a number of choices, that is cases, and we want to perform a different task for each choice. So this is the syntax of switch case. Switch, some expression should be there, and inside the switch block there will be a number of case. Say this is case number 1, case number 2, case number 3, like this. We may enter as many as cases as we wish, and the last one no doubt will be the default. In each case some statements will be there, and the last statement of each case should be break statement. Only inside the default, no need to use the break statement. What will happen here? Expression must have a particular value. When this expression will match with any of the case value, the statements inside that case value will be executed. Say this expression is matching with the value 2. Then this case will not be executed. The execution will checking further. The value of this case is matching with the expression, so these statements will be executed. When this break statement will be executed, further execution will be terminated. It will come out from the switch block. So this is the end of the switch block, so it will come out here. If the expression will match none of the case value, then this default statement will be executed and the program will be terminated. I am explaining this with an example. I am taking the value from the keyboard and the value I am entering into the variable game. So what is the expression? Expression inside the switch is game, means whatever the value I have entered. I am entering the first letter of different games. Say I am using for this case badminton, cricket, football, hockey, like this. So the letter which I will enter, that will be B, C, F, H, like this. What are the case value? If the value I enter through the keyboard which is B, then that B will be stored into the variable game. This B will match with first case. So inside this case, this statement will be executed. After getting badminton as the output, next instruction is break. So this break statement will be executed and the execution will come out from the switch block. This is the end of the switch block. So execution will come out to here. This rest part will not be executed. If we put the value from the keyboard, say age, this will match with this case and the hockey will be printed. After execution of this break statement, it will come out from the switch block. So if the value of expression in switch statement matches with any case value, the statements corresponding to that case are executed. Break statement will terminate the execution without checking the rest of the cases. If there is no break in any statement, then after execution of the correct case, every case will be executed. Say these break statements are not there. If we put the value C to get the cricket, then this will be executed. We will get cricket as output. The rest all the statements will be executed without any checking. So next we will get the football, we will get hockey, and as well as we will get sound sleep. If expression does not match any of the value of any case, then statements corresponding to default are executed. Say we are entering the value m, which is not matching with any case, then directly it will execute the default, means we will get sound sleep. Now running the program and see what is happening. This is that program, running it. First say entering the value C to get the output cricket. Say enter, we are getting the output cricket. Now entering any value which is not matching with the value I have used here. I have used B, C, F and A's. So entering the value which is not any of this value. Say I am entering M. What should get the result? We should get the result sound sleep. Enter. Say we are getting sound sleep. Now I am omitting this break statement and I am entering the value F. So if I will enter the value F, what should be the result? As no break statement is there and I am going to enter F, so this football will be at the output, and after that all the statements will be executed. So along with the football we will get hockey and sound sleep also. Now see, running the program, entering F, so we got football, hockey, sound sleep.